Hey everyone, and we'll just give people here a minute to get connected. All right, we'll go ahead and get things started here. And today I wanted to go over and cover inner circles, but we'll also do a brief run through on site navigation. Um, and again, this is still a new format for us, and we're happy to have everybody joining us on our second live webinar. And let me just mute my phone here real quick so I don't keep having all these notifications like last time. All right. So we're going to start with basic site navigation again. Um, and again, here at the top, you've got your home, your listen, your sing, upload, etc. And that is your main navigation, just like the legacy site. So that nothing has really changed there. And you have your search. That is a little bit of a change for a lot of people. So once you click on that, that'll expand your search, and it is a universal search. So you can sing, listen, and you can also search for tags. So that is different, and this is how you close the search. The X here. Here are your messages, and here are notifications. And lastly, over here on the top is the hamburger menu. So the 3 lines, and that gives you access to all your account settings and whatnot. So that is the basic navigation that you're going to see everywhere on the site, essentially. The next part would be these little boxes. This is used heavily on the new site. And you also have your 3-dot menus here. So you can click and add everything. Sorry, I'm just looking at a message from Novella here, Shannon. And I got a little sidetracked here. I've got a lot of screens open, by the way, just so you all know when I get distracted here. So this is your main navigation. So if we go to the sing section, for example, here are the featured songs. And you can scroll through these. You can also expand into the see more, where you can load a larger list and check through all that. So I think that's covered the navigation. If anybody has any questions at the end, you can ask, and we can go over any navigation questions that you might have. And now into our main topic for today. We wanted to cover the inner circles. You will be able to use inner circles in the same way that you always have, but we have also added a lot of new options and features that people have requested a lot over the years. So we'll go ahead and get started over here on the hamburger menu, and you will go down to My Inner Circles, and that's going to bring you to the Inner Circles overview page. And you're going to notice something different here from Legacy. You have owner, member, admin, and invitations. We'll come back to all those later. I just wanted to point out that that is something brand new. The owner section is essentially where you would go if you just want to use inner circles like you always have. And you also have a search, and you can search inner circles to find something. If you have a lot of them, it's kind of handy. And you also have the create a new inner circle option. And what you'll also notice here, once you open up an inner circle, everything is in individual sections, and you can share recordings to inner circles just like you can on Legacy. However, you do have some options that are not on Legacy, where you can allow anyone in your inner circle to share recordings to the inner circle. So essentially, you can have your own private group, and you can all share recordings with each other. Let me see here. Oh, and also, This one doesn't have it. Let me go back here. I know I have one set up here. I want to show you something. And I can't find it. Of course. Well, you can set up a playlist, and it would show in this area. I'm sorry I don't have that set up. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I am missing it. So this right here on the side, it will allow you to play the playlist of all the recordings in the inner circle. So that is really, really handy and something that is definitely nice if you're going to host any type of a challenge or a contest via inner circle, which I know some of you do. All right, and the same is with the message board. You do have the message board, and it's a little different since it's embedded inside the inner circle. And when you click on this, it is just a normal message board that you can use. And you do have the add new, so you can add new threads right here in your inner circle. And another thing you might notice with the members, let me go back to the create. I want to show you this. So let's say you're creating a new inner circle. Right now you have some different options that you didn't have previously. So you have your title and your description like normal, but you have the settings over here for recordings. So this will allow you to let others share their recordings in your inner circle. This will enable the playlist, and this will enable your message board. And then you have the option here for private members. So right now, a private member is how things work on the legacy site. Everybody in the inner circle, no one knows who's in there unless they post something. You add anybody you want, and that'll work just like legacy. However, if you leave that setting off, you can have a public member list in your inner circle so everyone can see who is in there. So when you're in there and you do have, you start adding recipients. So we'll add Mandy here. In a private member, Mandy would be added automatically, just like legacy. In a public member, when the private option is off, when everything's public, Mandy will receive an invitation to join the inner circle. That way she has a choice before she's added to something and publicly visible. So that is something that's new. Again, you can use it just like you do the old if you choose, or you can open that option up. So here, for example, is a public inner circle. So everyone in the inner circle can see who is in the inner circle. And you, as the inner circle owner, have some options here to add someone as an admin. Adding someone as an admin allows them to help you run the inner circle. They can basically add members, remove members, anything that you can do except delete the inner circle. So a lot of you have requested that over the years, and that's something we did add here. And over here, you have your add member, edit, all that good stuff. And only the owner is going to see the edit, or the admins. And let me see here, I got a little off track on my notes. All right, and I want to go back here to these sections. So here are all the inner circles you own. Here are inner circles that you're a member of. So someone has added you to an inner circle. And we also have the admin section if you're an admin of an inner circle. And finally, you have an invitations. So this is if someone wants you to join their inner circle, but it's going to have a public group. So everyone is going to know that you've joined it. You have the option to accept or decline that invitation. So that is your basics for the inner circles. And again, I haven't looked at the chat yet, but I will look in there and we can go over any questions. I'm sure you have some. But I do want to show you how to share recordings to an inner circle as well. So you want to go to My Recordings from the hamburger menu, and to share a recording to an inner circle, you would edit, and you can do this while saving as well. It's the same screen. So you have the option here to select an inner circle that you wish to share the recording with. So I want to share it with Mandy, so I would choose Mandy's inner circle. In addition to that option, you can still change the privacy of the recording. So you can share this recording publicly and also share it in Mandy's inner circle. Or you can restrict it to members only and also share it in the inner circle. And if you wish, you can keep the recording private and share it to the inner circle, and that is how the legacy site behaves. Only people in that inner circle can see the recording. So that's a new option where you can share in multiple ways. The inner circles are more independent. And that may be something if you're in a group where you share recordings and you return listens, for example. You still want to share that recording with your group of friends there, but you also want to share it publicly. So you can do that now. So you don't have to restrict yourself to only sharing private in an inner circle. And that is the main structure of inner circles. It really isn't, I don't know how to say this. It's a lot different, but it's also very, very similar. The legacy is much more limited. You can continue to use things in that manner on the new site, or if you want, you can jump into all these added tools. And the admin tool is probably going to be one of that and sharing recordings to any inner circle that the owner has allowed that in is probably going to be two of the most popular new additions in this area. All right, and I'm going to jump in here and see if Mandy and Shannon have sent any questions over to me here. And I'm going to jump back into the chat room here and see if I can find anything here. Bev, yes, correct. This is not about like the inner circles that are used for volunteer teams or anything. This is just the inner circles for the public, for the site. Karen asked about inner circles on Legacy. Those will be imported over to the new site. That will happen closer to the launch time, right before we officially launch the new site. So those will come over. And you can still create new ones on the beta site now and test everything out and give it a try if you want. And I'm just looking back through the chat here a little bit. And I'm sorry if I miss any questions. All right. So I'm not seeing very many questions here. Not sure if anybody wants me to go over anything else. Any navigation, anything like that. I hope I explained the inner circles well enough for everyone. And it looks like Novella's internet went out. Ooh. That's no fun. Hey, Star. All right, well, I think we can go ahead and end there unless anybody else has any questions. I did want to keep things a little short here. I didn't want to overload and have a 30-minute video here, so. Mandy wants to know if I want to go over the recording process again, and yeah, definitely we can do that. Obviously, the Sing tab at the top is replacing both the Sing and Record from the legacy, so there's only one section. And we did go over the featured list and your favorites. And if you continue scrolling down, you can do genres and artists. We have the open duet section, and duets are a little limited right now. You can only duet on the beta system with a beta recording or a recording from one of the newer apps. We will be changing that once we launch. I don't know if that's going to happen right at launch, but shortly after, we should be able to have duets available for legacy recordings as well. It's a little tricky to get that all working. So there may be a slight delay there, but that is coming. And once you open a song you want to sing, I'm going to let that load. And here's your basic recorder. And we are working on a slight redesign of the recorder just to tidy it up a little bit, just to let you know that is coming. And a lot of people have questions about choosing your camera or your mic if you have your webcam enabled. And this is also how you disable the webcam up here as well. So you would click here, you can turn it on and off. And that message that's coming up is a temporary message because right now my camera is being used by the software that I'm using for the YouTube Live. So that's why that error came up. And here is where you can change your microphone input. And this is something, if you do have any type of an issue where you're not having any luck, you can come up here to the lock icon. And if you block either or, it's going to have you reload. That's on Chrome. It's a little different on Firefox. This will allow you to reselect your camera and your microphone. So you can do that if you need to, if you're having any type of trouble accessing. Again, these messages you're seeing down here are normal and expected since my webcam is actively being used. And then when you're ready, obviously you've got the practice down here to go ahead. You've also got your volume. And what this does, the music volume here is just what you're listening to while you're singing. It does not affect your recording on the outcome. And you've also got your microphone volume, which does impact your recording. So you can see on the meter over here how high you're going, and if you need to, you can adjust up or down. And you have your pitch options. So you can obviously select those and change those. And the lyric speed, where you can speed up or slow down the lyrics if they're slightly out of sync with the music or not where you're wanting them. It's very handy on a really fast song, like a rap song or something. And we'll go ahead and click on record here. And go ahead and mute that so it's not blaring through. And so right now everything is recording. And this will go all the way to the end and stop, and it'll take you to the review automatically. Or when you're done, you can stop it and you can either restart or go to the review. And then once you're in the review, the mixer here in the review is essentially the same with one minor change, same as Legacy. You can independently adjust the music level and the microphone level. So this is a bit different. So let's say your vocals are really, really low in this particular recording and you want to bump those up. In doing that, you can also bump the music up a little bit if you need to. So you can increase your vocal volume and then adjust the music up a little bit. That'll give you a slightly louder recording in the end result. We do normalize the recording, so it's not going to make a huge difference, but it will give your vocals a bit more of a punch in the mix. And then on the sync, this is another very similar, but it's also very different in the fact that this is milliseconds. On the old recorder, most steps when you hit the button, it was about 10 milliseconds, and that was about as close as you could adjust in a range. So right now you can do 1 millisecond at a time. So it's a little more sensitive, but it does mean that the sync value is going to be larger. So on the legacy system, you may have had a sync of -7. That could end up being, a -150 on the new system. So what we recommend when you're starting out from 0 is going 25 to 50 at a time. So you would just go ahead and bump it and then preview and see how close you feel it is.
Go ahead and mute that
and
so
if
it's not blaring through.
Go ahead and bump it another 25 to 50. Give it a preview.
Through.
And once you get close, you can start using, the 5, the 1s, and you can get those smaller increments until you get to where you need. For me personally, I find between -180 and 190 is typically where my sync is going to fall. It's fairly consistent, and for most people, it probably will be consistent within that bit of a range. There is currently one issue that we are working on. Every time you stop and start the recorder or the review, it can slightly change the sync preview. It's minor. For most people, it's not an issue, but if you do find that you have trouble with the sync sounding different when you don't think it should, go ahead and drag the scrubber back to the beginning and start from the beginning and see if that helps with that issue. That is something we're working on, but it is a known glitch in the system, if you will. And that's basically the process for mixing. And when you're done, you would obviously, you also have the Make Me Sound Better up here, which is on by default. But you also would just click on the next, and that's going to bring you to this page. And again, this is where you would share to an inner circle during the saving process. You can take a picture or upload an image or choose from any of the cover images that we have provided there. You can add your comment, add tags, which is new. So you can get into the trend of adding tags on there, and you can start using that tag search, and you can have your contest entries, put a tag on there that's specific, and people can search for that tag and find all those entries that way. So that's a handy little tool. And that's basically the recording process. Once you click save, it's going to upload, and that's what that process is with the little spinner. And after this, it's going to take you to this save screen. If you go to My Recordings right away, you may not see the recording here. That is normal and expected. While the recording is being mixed, it's not showing. We are planning to work on that and change that behavior slightly so you do know that it is being mixed. But currently that is the expected behavior. So you can just refresh the page. Give it a 30 seconds or so and refresh, and you should see that recording. All right, and I'm going to jump back into the chat here. See what I've missed here. On the question of everything stopping when you make an adjustment in the mixer, that is expected right now, and that is done for the accuracy. Changing things on the fly can alter the accuracy in the HTML and the other coding practices that we're using. So for that reason, there is that bit of a pause there where you have to play. We do hope to improve that in the future, but currently that gives us the most accurate preview possible. So that's why that is set up that way. And I know it's annoying and it's kind of a pain, but once you get that sync figured out and you get your normal sync value, your range that you're going to fall in, like I said, mine is -180 to -190. It's really not too bad because you're always going to just start in that range and you'll find your sync really fast. And I'm skimming through the chat here to see if I've missed anything. I'm sure I've missed a lot. Yes, sharing, we will have sharing. That will probably come shortly after the official launch. We actually can't implement that until we are closer to that launch due to how the links work and how Facebook works and all that different stuff. So that is a little bit of a delay on that, but it will be coming. You can always grab the link from the address bar. So let's go to here to a recording. If you open a recording up here in your browser address bar, you can copy that link, right mouse click and copy that. You can paste that onto Twitter, into Facebook status update, and that will bring through once we launch. It's not going to work on the beta site. It's just going to take people to a login screen. But once we launch the site, that will allow you to share things on Facebook temporarily until we have this actual share button over here working. Like I said, and that delay is due to how the links are being redirected and how those links work. We just need to wait until we're ready to flip the switch, essentially. Oh, as Mandy also wanted me to point out, when you're in the preview mixer stage of recording, you can tap on the space bar of your keyboard to start and stop the playback. So I can actually jump in here and show you that. So that does make things a little bit easier. After you make an adjustment, you can just tap the space bar and automatically start. So now we're going to the review, and let's say I'm playing this and I make a sync adjustment. Oops. Didn't actually make an adjustment. Start. So I make that adjustment, and then I just tap the spacebar, and it automatically starts playing again. So you can use that in the review to make that a little easier. Again, we do know that is annoying, and it is something we're working on. We wanted the accuracy to be there rather than the slight convenience of clicking the play. As far as the legacy site, the legacy site will stick around for a little while. There will be some changes and there will be limitations on what you can do. It will essentially be an archive. So it will be there, but we're still ironing out all those details as far as exactly how that will work. But yeah, that is a limitation. And I do understand it is a big change from the legacy site to the beta site. It looks a lot different. But once you get in there and you start poking around, it honestly isn't that much of a change. It looks a lot different, but it still has the same feel once you get used to the slight navigation differences. And there's actually been a lot of questions. I'll just go ahead and answer this because I know it comes up a lot. People want to know why we don't just keep the legacy website. And the primary reason for that is, well, there's several reasons. One is that it's a very dated design. It's very old and it limits us in what we can do. It's also built on older code, which again limits what we can do. So when Flash Player goes at the end of the year, we would have to rebuild our entire backend system to make a recorder work on the legacy site. And it doesn't play well. The older code of the site doesn't work well with the newer code that we would use for the recorder. So what we've done is build everything from the ground up to work together. That way we're not trying to mesh things together that don't want to be together. So that is the reason for the new site. And as far as the new design, we're just modernizing the design. We needed things to be more friendly on touchscreens and tablets. There was just a lot of factors in that. And again, we do understand change is hard, but we did try to make it as smooth as possible. Like I said, this is basically the hamburger menu is essentially the navigation bar that used to be at the top of the site. We still have the tabs across the top. There's still similar sections. So it is different, but it also has a lot of similarities. Question about background designs on songs. Currently, that's not going to be supported. We will be adding in some options to customize your recording pages. As far as actual background images, I doubt that's going to come forward. We did have issues with navigation and visibility, and that's things we need to be conscious about. With certain laws and restrictions, as well as just common. I don't know how to word this. Common decency, I guess you could say, as far as for anybody with visual issues. It just makes it very hard for someone to navigate if they have any type of visual impairment. So trying to limit that where there's entire backgrounds of pictures just is helpful for things like that. So that's part of the reason. That's one aspect of why we're doing that. Yeah, so we will be adding in some customizations though. So you will have some options coming, just a little different than what you've had in the past. Yes, someone asked about the recordings. We will have all the recordings coming over into the new system. So that is coming, and that will be right at the launch. Essentially, the beta site right now, we have some data imported in, so you can use it and test it and try things out. But all the data hasn't been imported yet, and then that'll come right before the official launch. Banners and contests. That's something that you can actually upload and add directly to the post now. So let me go into a message board here. I'm just going to jump into any topic here, and you can go to the reply. So you have the option here to upload an image. So you can just grab anything you want from in here and upload that. So that is essentially the same thing. It's just you don't have to have a link. You don't have to host the image elsewhere. All right, and I think we'll go ahead and end things here. I wanted to keep this around 30 minutes or less, so we're right around that mark there. And this will be available on the web or on the YouTube account. So if you want to go back and check anything out later, you can do that. All right, well, thanks everyone for stopping out, and I hope we've answered some of your questions, and I hope that'll help you learn about the inner circles and all the good things that are coming. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good day.